Hi. Welcome, everyone. My name is Pamela Schwartz. I am a longtime resident of Northampton and a tremendous fan of Robbie Sullivan's. And it is a tremendous honor for me to welcome you here tonight at her kickoff launch party. So let's hear it for Robbie. Woo! I have known Robbie. I was doing the math. Our kids met in the first year of middle school, and coming from their respective Jackson and Bridge, joining, and Liam and Gabriel became really good buddies off the bat, and so did their moms. And we have developed our friendship ever since in so many different ways, sharing life with kids, sharing life in travel, sharing life in what it means to have a life, and sharing life in Northampton. And I gotta say, you know, being up close to Robbie in the trials and tribulations of adolescence and watching her champion her children, champion the community, just champion friendship, it's like this woman has what it takes to be an amazing school committee member. I mean, it's just so awesome. And I've just always admired her smarts and her commitment and her passion and her thoughtfulness and her analytical ability, all of it. I've just admired independent of any elected office. And when she told me that she was gonna run, it was like, oh my gosh, I don't wanna overemphasize like savior, but it kind of had that feeling. It's like, yes! And because all of those natural gifts applied here is truly a gift to Northampton. We are so fortunate. And so with that, I'm going to introduce a first person who's going to introduce another person, and I'm so excited to welcome Rachel Simpson.
It's a tough act to follow. Thanks, Pamela. Thanks to all of you for being here. I think I know most of you, but I don't know all of you. Just to get the record straight, I'm often mistaken for a Northampton native, but I've only lived here since I was 6. That was 56 years ago, though. And over the course of my life here, I've seen a lot of changes in city government and in the business and cultural life in Northampton. Proposition 2.5 went into effect the year after I graduated from high school. And every single city school that I went to, except for the high school, has since closed as a result of 2.5, I think. Vernon Street, Florence Grammar, D.A. Sullivan.
South Street.
I didn't go to South Street. I didn't go to that many schools. And Holly Junior High. I remember when Thorns Market first opened, and I remember McCallum's before it. I remember Fitzwillies opening and how cool it was. I remember the beginning of the downtown revitalization. I watched the Smith College Art Museum being built a long time ago. I really mourned the closing of Harvard Pizza, which will mean something to some of you, but not all of you. And I saw my old study hall transformed into the first Center for the Arts. And I know that despite all the challenges that we've faced over the years, this city has embraced change and continued to grow. And it's a great place to live. But I have to say, this has been the most contentious and consequential period politically for Northampton that I've seen. It's very clear just how much rests on this election, November 4th. You know, I'm almost 62. Over the last 43 years, I voted in every election, and I've contributed to a number of candidates. But I've only served actively on a couple of candidates' committees, and this is one of them. And I'm involved because I believe when there is so much at stake, all of us have to be involved. No matter what you're doing, there's no job too small. We all have to be involved. This election requires the active engagement of all registered voters, and if you're not registered, there's still time. You have until October 24th to register to vote in the November election. The people that we select to represent us on November 4th are going to determine the direction of our city for the next decade, if not longer. And that's why I'm here to talk about Robbie.
We've got the volunteer sign up.
And we have the volunteer sign-ups over here. We encourage you to go over there and sign up for something.
Thank you.
Robbie is principled, she is fair, she thinks critically, she's smart, she has integrity, like you wouldn't believe, she's compassionate, she's kind. And she has always cared about this community. So growing up, I'm slightly older than her, but I always knew who she was. I went to high school with her slightly older sister, and Robbie and I both started working at the Daily Hampshire Gazette in 1989, and she was a copy editor, and I started out as an obituary writer, and
A damn good one.
that's right. So at the Gazette, I recognized right away that she was worth my respect because she had those qualities. Over the years since then, our relationship has evolved professionally and personally. We've been colleagues. She's been my client. We both trained as death doulas through the same program, and we've become friends. At every step of the way, she's continued to demonstrate those same qualities: compassion, kindness, fairness, integrity, intelligence, the ability to think critically, and a deep caring and respect for the city we call home. I am certain that Robbie is the most qualified candidate for school committee. If you know Robbie, I'm sure you're certain about that too. Those of us who know her know that she will act with the best interests of the schools, our children, and our community at heart. If you don't know Robbie yet, I think by the time you leave here tonight, you'll be as certain as the rest of us are that she'll be a tremendous addition to the school committee. Thank you. And now, I'd like to introduce, I think probably her biggest fan, her husband, Mark Sullivan.
Good evening, everybody. It's great to see everybody out tonight, and I appreciate you all coming out on a Wednesday night. So, we're here tonight because we care about our kids and our community's future. And Robbie cares too. I didn't think I was going to get emotional, and then Rachel got me going. But she's not just running for school committee, she's stepping up and trying to make a difference. And she's way out of her comfort zone, and she's still doing it. But as a mother, she understands the challenges that our kids are facing. As a former copy editor, she has an eye for detail and good communication skills. As a nurse, she brings compassion and a focus on well-being. And in her work with end-of-life care, she understands the power of listening, of respecting different opinions, and making tough decisions with empathy. She'll advocate for you and your children and make sure every student gets the best educational experience that this community can provide. She'll lead with compassion, with honesty, and common sense. She's been my voice of reason for 35 years plus, and she's the next school committee's voice of reason. Please welcome Robbie Saner Sullivan.
Okay. Thank you, Pamela, Rachel, and Mark. I'm going to start off by telling you I have never wanted to be on a stage, so this is quite the trip for me, but I'm going to do it. And before I share my thoughts about why I'm running for school committee, I want to give a heartfelt thank you to the retiring school committee members, and a very special thank you to Ms. Agna. I I am still not sure what to call her because she was my kid's principal, so I kind of mix it up. But she's a woman who has devoted her life to supporting and guiding students in the school district. So thank you, Gwen. If I am elected, I know a difficult and demanding job lies ahead of me. We've been challenged in ways we couldn't have imagined just 5 years ago. The pandemic, the state of our nation, the ongoing degradation of civil discourse, and the proliferation of mis and disinformation fueled by social media. It's become more difficult to engage constructively and act productively, and that doesn't feel good for any of us. But that's precisely why we need to do the best we can for the people we live near and work with. We can find our best selves during these times and go to work right here in Northampton on behalf of the next generation. So, what are public schools? They are places where we learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, of course. But they are also slices of real life, where we don't get to curate who we spend our days with. Some days are better than others, and the lessons learned often exceed the subjects at hand. Lifelong friends are made. Teachers' names and faces are committed to memory and then recalled with nostalgia and gratitude, and maybe something else. Compassion and empathy are cultivated and expressed. But I know these experiences, both academic and social, aren't available to every student all the time. A school committee must do what it can to support an optimal experience for each child. In part, it does this by modeling its community's highest values and aspirations. But our community, like so many, seems to be out of sync with our best selves. There is division and rancor around public school funding and operation. Our kids see this, they are watching, and they are learning. I bring skills and understanding home through professional, volunteer, and family experience. I also bring a strong commitment to being respectful of students, parents, teachers, and other education professionals, my fellow school committee members and elected officials, and engaged citizens. I will model open-mindedness, tolerance, and respect, and reject intolerant, disrespectful, and divisive behavior. We can have differences without going low. Our children deserve that from us.
Yes.
I have a proposition. The policy on bullying and harassment we expect our students to abide by should be adopted by the school committee. As policy that guides our meetings, as well as public and online conversations. We should not be asking our children to live by a standard that we adults are not living up to. I am committed to being an independent voice on the school committee, and that doesn't mean I'll be shouting into the wind. It means I will seek out facts, tested and proven practices, and I will listen. Watching school committee meetings, one might think the only duties members have are recommending a budget and hiring and evaluating the performance of the superintendent. And yes, those are two essential duties, but as defined by the state, members have other important obligations. And here are just two. Review educational goals and policies for the schools in the district, and ensure policies are consistent with the requirements of law and the goals and standards set by the Board of Education. The state has told us that with regard to the overall management of individual education plans, or IEPs, we are not in compliance with the law or Board of Education policy. Correcting this has already begun, and it must be a continued priority of the next school committee. And so must celebrating the very many things our schools do so well each and every day. We can and we must. can and we must hold both. I'll advocate for a thorough review of the goals and policies that guide educational practices, as well as an assessment of how our public school funds are being spent. And from this effort, we craft goals and policies that draw from the best of research and current practices to support all students, ensuring we are getting all we can from the funds dedicated to our public education system. We must recognize the powerful role technology plays in all our schools and find the best ways to lessen its negative impact while taking advantage of all it has to offer. Our students deserve nothing less than this. The school committee must represent all of Northampton's residents, all of whom, of course, care about our students. And that school committee should be committed to listening to and representing the full expanse of the community it serves. I pledge to do that. I thank you again for your support. I hope you will talk to family, friends, and colleagues and encourage them to vote for me in November. As you may know, a campaign is a bit like shooting a rocket into space. It requires a lot of fuel and fast. Resources, both financial and human, are deeply appreciated and go a long way to making our campaign a success. There are tables around the room with different ways you might help. Please visit them and do what you can. And finally, a special thanks to the members of my campaign committee. Raise your hands if you've been volunteering tonight. Thank you so much. And I am going to single out my sister, Lynn Saner, down here. She agreed to build my website back in June. She had no idea what she was getting herself into. But the problem is that she's really good at what she does. And thanks to my husband, Mark, and my own kids, Julia, Joni, and Liam. They're scattered about the country for now, but they are so proud to call Northampton their hometown. And I also wanted to, I did mess up here, so hang on with me for a minute. I knew it wouldn't run totally smoothly. Where's my list? I also want to recognize Gina Louise Sierra, Mayor, who's here tonight. I'm not sure if everyone is still here, but Marianne Labarge, Counselor. Counselor Debbie Clemmer. Former Mayor Claire Higgins. Mike Kaling. Mark Ames. Marissa Elkins. And some current candidates, Lori Loisel. Angela Wack, I'm not sure. Benjamin Spencer. Thank you all so much for coming.
Round of applause for Robbie. One more, because that's amazing. Woo! I don't know about you, but hearing her talk is literally like oxygen. It's just air in our lungs around just this promise of sanity in our local politics and everything else that flows from that, that our kids need, that our community needs. And I'm going to close. Obviously, we need your support. I mean, Robbie gave a very gentle, kind ask. I'm going to go a little tougher and say, whatever you can do, I'm going to start financially. And one of the things that I want to bring home is there's so much that feels so, that makes us feel so powerless. God, I wish it was powerful. Powerless on the national level. There's so much happening over which we feel we have no control, although by George, we're going to have control. We're working that in a different venue. But in the here and now, reading the headlines every day, it's so painful. I know that. I trust that for all of us. And I just want to say, one place to channel that sense of powerlessness is to claim power locally. This is our chance to define our community, to defy what is happening on the national level, and have our community embody the values, the civility, the decency, the care for our community. We can do that in this election. We can actually take our city back, is what I want to say. We haven't lost it, but there's an element of disinformation that is really scary. And I know I'm not alone in feeling that fear, and we have an opportunity through a candidate like Robbie Sullivan and others, that many of whom are in this room, to actually fight back, push back, and claim what it means to be a part of Northampton and how that is a microcosm of our nation. So this is where I want you to channel right now tonight. Go as deep as you can go, because we need to get Robbie on the school committee. That has got to happen. It will be a game changer. Okay? So join me. Join me. The donation table is over there. Every single dollar is going to make a meaningful difference in this victory. And then join me over here. We need people power. We need people to know who Robbie is, to know what she stands for, to know what she offers our city. And any amount of minutes that you can give matter a lot. So don't, we all know our lives are pulled in so many directions. Don't fall into that can't do another thing, because in fact, we can. We can and we must. We can do it, start small, but I guarantee you once you start small, you're going to want to go big, because it's really, really compelling. So just get over to both of those tables. Do what you can. Get your names down. Get the credit card out, whatever version you can do. Let's start tonight and get Robbie on the school committee. Thank you.